Welcome to this guided series for new players for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. In the last part, we planned out our new town over here in order to support the oil refinery, and you can see I've played on a little bit to start trying to build this area here so that we can get the town up and running as soon as possible. What I've also done over here is started to plan the heating plant. And what I've gone for is another rail link coming into here that will deliver the coal. Even though we've got a local coal mine, I kind of thought, well, there's no way I was going to be able to get the coal out here. And I needed a way to get the coal delivered. So that's what I've opted for. Now, in this part, what we're going to be doing is looking at helicopter construction offices. Because one way to really speed up this area here is to use helicopters. Simply because the real drag on building up this area is going to be the problem of delivering asphalt and concrete, although we do have a custom shed to draw from. But more importantly, it's actually getting the workforce out here, because by using helicopters, we'll be able to avoid bringing in foreign workers. An example of that is that at the moment this area is being built by our main construction office. You can see they've managed to get some of the key buildings in place, and we are working on them. And what I have done here, and this is a little bit of a tip, guys, when you're building an oil refinery, build the tanks first, or at least don't build these connections, so that you can set these tanks up what they're going to receive, whether it's fuel or bitumen, before the actual oil refinery comes online. Because one of the problems is that if you don't do that, what will happen is when the oil refinery comes online, it may end up putting fuel or bitumen into both tanks. So you need to define which tanks that you actually want elements to go. So what we're going to do now is just go back over to where we're going to build the helicopter construction offices. But I've got one more thing to show you before we actually do that. And that is the fact that after quite a long gestation, our metro line is now finished. If I go underground now, you'll see that it's all completely set up and connected all the way through. Or it should be. Yeah, it looks like it is. And so what I want to do as an aside is actually set up the metro line. And to do that, what we need to do is get 2 metro trains into this depot. Now, because we're on auto purchase, what I can do is come into here, we'll search for metro. And it looks like we've only got one option anyway. It's only capable of 80 kilometers an hour. But what you'll see, and this is the real power of metro, is that it can carry 525 passengers. So what we're going to do is get 2 of those. Now, a bit of an aside for anyone who wants to play realistic mode. When you play realistic mode, you can't obviously auto purchase. And the way you actually get the metro trains to the depot is you buy them at the border out here. Now, the metro train can't travel on normal tracks. So what you do is you pick up a train from here, and then what you do is same way as you would do with a truck. And then what happens is the train will go to you set up a route, and the train will go to the border, pick up the metro train, and tow it to the actual depot. That also works for trams as well. If you set up a complex tram line in realistic mode, you can either transport the trams on truck, but if you're getting really big trams, what you need to do is set up a rail connection and then tow the trains to the actual depot. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is come here and we're going to go underground. Just pull here, and what we're going to do is simply start at the end station, come to there. Now, you don't have to specify which side of the tracks, because the game kind of works it out for itself. And the important thing is that you complete the circle. So you do that like that. So, and then if we hit that button there, we'll just speed the game up a little bit. And what you'll see is that the metro train will come out. Now, what happens is the end stations do the actual spacing. And then what we should be able to do, this is where it sometimes can get a little bit kind of icky here, because what we need to do is come here and go underground, find the metro, open this guy's route, copy that, and then put that onto there. and then launch him as well. What will happen is that the end stations will eventually smooth out the route. I've lost the other train. Where has it gone? As you notice, things can get a bit complicated sometimes. Under here, all related trains. Yeah, I think what they do is they pause in the end station, or in order to space out. Yeah, it does take a little while for a metro line to settle down, but we'll just follow him, just so you can see how it goes. And of course, the best way, the way to get the best out of your metro stations is to actually have a two-dimensional line. In fact, no, I've got the wrong train. What we got here is this line here. There we are. We're getting our first passengers now. As I say, it will take a little while for the game to actually adjust. But you can see we're now carrying 118 passengers. And what will happen is that they will come all the way back to here. As I say, this is only a one-way line, so it's not as efficient as it could be. And what will happen is we come above ground, all those lovely people, workers will come here. Obviously, a lot of them are going into the heating plant. Actually, looks like they're going to the brewery as well. So what will happen is that more and more passengers will come into the actual station up here. And what you'll find is that more and more will come, and what we'll need to do is once it settles down, we can then do the necessary adjustments from here. In fact, one adjustment I will do from the beginning is we will change this, put the workers pick up on that, put that there. And as I say, what we'll do then is just let this, you can see here now, as more and more people realize that they can get jobs out here, they will start go there. That, wow, all gone. And what you'll find is progressively the amount of workforce in this area will build up, and we will get exactly what we want. And when it comes to mass movement, the metro is by far the most efficient, but it is also the most expensive to build. Anyway, that out the way, what we're going to do now is actually look at helicopter construction offices. And to that end, what we're going to do is build one here. The reason is that when you're running helicopters, especially a large helicopter construction office, you need a good, stable source of fuel. Now, to find the helicopter construction office, what we need to do is come into here. And now I'm aware you can't see the print, but what this actually says is that this is got a vehicle loading, unloading of 2, and it does support 2 helicopters, but it has parking spots for 12 vehicles. And by that, if I show you the actual helicopter building itself, what you'll see here is that there's like 2 landing pads on the back here. Now, all I'm going to do is put this here. I'm just going to drop you in about there. Now, before we do anything else, I want to put in a fuel connection here. Now, I could connect it directly, because actually supplying fuel like this is probably the most efficient way of doing it. Just put you that way round, like that. No, that's multiple in. I want one in, multiple out. And when you're building a helicopter construction office, what you need to do is put the pipeline in first, for a reason which will become apparent. Because if I build this helicopter pad very, very quickly, we'll just fund everything just to try and move things along. We've got nothing assigned, and what you'll see is we've got 4, 8, 12, 15, 16 slots there. So is that 4? Was it 4, 8, 12, 14 slots? So we've got 14 slots here for the landing, but we can only buy 2 helicopters. If I tried to buy helicopters, it'd let me buy 2. So what you can do now is actually expand that capacity in the similar way that what we did with the concrete plant, is that if we come here, find the triple lock thingy here, and what we'll do is we'll put one there. That adds 3 more. That gives us the capacity for 5 helicopters. And then what I'm going to do is kind of overload it as much as possible. And then, so that gives us 6, 7, 8. And then hopefully we're in another ones like that. Now, if I build these up, although we're might have a problem with the road here, but now we can curve the road out. One way to do this is to get this type of problem. All you do is you go past, come out like that, and then trim back, and then you get a kind of a angled junction. It looks horrible, but it works. And actually what we can do is kind of tidy this up a little bit. We can take advantage of that junction like that and accept that. And again, I'll just batch build these like that. As you can probably guess, is to set a helicopter construction office up costs a lot of money. Now the next thing we need to do is decide where we're going to pick up. I'll skirt over workers for the moment, because what I'll do is I'll set this up as a kind of a delivery set scenario, and then what I'll do is I'll progress it to things. Now we've got no steel, so at the moment we can only deliver boards. So now if we could, what we could do is change this and deliver steel into. We could do something like this, and what we can do then is just deliver the steel into here, and of course the prefabs will shrink down eventually to allow the steel in, because at the moment the open store is at 91%. Now another thing we can do, I'm not sure if we got enough space, is that if I come into here, say we buy a small warehouse, what we could do is kind of attach a small warehouse here, like I should probably put it over here actually. It will connect. Now this is, I will accept that this is a little bit artificial, so we'll just build this up here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set an auto purchase up. I don't recommend this as for a normal game. This is purely for demonstration purposes. We probably don't need a lot, so we'll just set an auto purchase up for that. And then what that means is that we can come here, and then actually if I specify location for steel as well, and of course then electro components and mechanical components there. Now I could put an auto purchase for steel here, but I don't really want to deliver steel here just at the moment. We can sort that out long term. Also we got an auto purchase for fuel here. We don't really need that. That can be removed, because what we will do is draw. Now to get this to work, a helicopter office must have power for 2 reasons. One is it won't really draw in the fuel into here from this connection here, because actually we built the connection. Let's just make sure, yeah, no, we haven't built this here, so we need to build this and build this. Of course, if you're in manually constructing, this will all take time. We'll just put a mud road into there. But even though you've got fuel into here, you see now we've now got a full load of fuel in here, because that's been pushed by this pump here. But because it says the building has no power supply, when a helicopter lands here, it will not fuel. It works the same way as a normal construction office. Okay, even though you can put fuel into a construction office, it won't fuel the vehicles unless it's got power. So the next thing we're going to need to do is find a power connection. We got kind of connector there. So what I'll do is I'll just tuck this very much. That will also put power into the what we call it there, the God, what's it called, distribution office. I think we'll just build that. What that will do is put power into here now as well. Sources without steel. Yeah, I know. So again, what I can do is actually I'll just set the distribution office up. Who's the one that actually moves the bricks? Let me just set the distribution office up very, very quickly. Yeah, so what we can do is come in here, tell it to pick up steel, and then find the things, and we can unload steel there. As I say, this is totally artificial. The problem we will have is the fact that this is, we can set this to 100%, and we might actually force some steel into here with the spare capacity. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go and get us a little bit of steel. So the next thing we need to do is we've got slots for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 helicopters. But of course, what we need is workforce. So the next thing we got to do is come to here. And what we're looking for is a helicopter passenger platform. And I think let's just see where the unemployment is. So I've deliberately had workers unemployed yesterday. So we got some unemployment here and unemployment here. We've also got over 21s, got 562 over 21s as well. Now I'm trying to keep those for a reason, but what we could do is we've got this block here that's being built, a helicopter construction office. Oh yeah, I want to turn off the auto detect. So actually, if I show you the auto search, I'm not sure if this only goes up to 3.5 kilometers. So the auto research is the auto search isn't much use with helicopters, but I'll show you a way around that in a little while. And what I want to do is we're going to put in the I think we'll put the helicopter platform wherever it is. We tuck it in about there. It's got heat. Now you'll see that this platform actually needs fuel, but for a construction office it doesn't need fuel. That is there if you are going to be setting up a commercial line, because what you can do is you set up 2 of these, you can actually move people between 2 towns or 2 locations using it. And you can also use it, say for example, we set up this here. Let me just here, I don't make sure we set that up there. We don't want the fuel. I keep forgetting this because so we got a little bit of fuel in there. Say for example that you're in a rush to get the oil refinery set up down there and it was built. What you can do is use a helicopter platform like this and put one down next to the oil refinery, and then what you can do then is fly the workforce in. But be aware that helicopters consume a lot of fuel. Therefore, if you are running lots and lots of helicopters, you can run into some interesting problems. Now, if we come back to here and we go to purchase vehicles, and it says we got here show all, and what you get here is you get a mixture. You've got the M10 cargo, and then you've got the M10 passenger truck one there. But if I put here, we'll get, oh, that's got Zeppelins. We're not flying Zeppelins. And then what we've got is, so the first thing we want to do is look for, we've got an MI6 here that can carry 47 passengers. And you can see, so what we're going to do is we're going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, because we want exclusive passengers. And then we're going to get the M10. Now, some helicopters have dual roles. So what, and then what we can do then is just top up with the rest. So get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. Now, what helicopters can do, they can deliver, but they also, you can see we've got a couple of spare slots here. And this is where you need to balance it. Now, there's nothing to say that you can't put in a dedicated road crew, you know, in the sense of the fact that you want to build things. But what we want this helicopter platform to do is actually build the buildings. So what we're going to need is, and it might pay, get one excavator and a couple of cranes, because the way I'm thinking is that I can use the other the groundworks crew to support this process down here. And so if we get those in there. Now, another tip what I would say is that when you're working with a helicopter office, this is where this option comes in really useful. Is you can just assign this to the helicopter crew, go back to here, and what that will mean is that when you want to assign it long distance, you don't have to keep clicking on the helicopter construction office. What you can do is come into here, go to here, and what we're going to do now, the advantage of helicopters, besides the fact that they will deliver lots of things at distance, the other thing that they will do is that you can pick an isolated building. So let's see if we can find a building that's got no other connection. Say, for example, this one here, this apartment block. Now, just pause the game. And you can see that the apartment block we've selected, which one was it? This one here. It's going to start with concrete, gravel, and asphalt. We go back over to here. I'm keeping the game on pause because there's quite a you can say unusual feature when you use helicopter construction offices, is the fact that we get here, what you will see is, we'll just let the game run now. Away they go, the swarm does take off. And what you will see is they will all fly over to here. And they will all land down here. And some will obviously be queuing up here, but of course what these guys are after, gravel, concrete and asphalt. And they're all going to grab that. This is what you could call the helicopter swarm. So, and you can see the speed that they can actually operate at. So if they could even going to be us over to here. Now, be aware that this is purely for demonstration purposes. If you are building up a town or area like this, you would probably do this in a slightly more structured way. But what you'll see now is the first swarm have come in, and they're going to deliver all the concrete, the asphalt. It's quite fun to watch the helicopter there. You can see it's also delivered the excavator here. You can see how quickly the actual helicopters can work. So you can keep them very busy, and of course what you can do is get them to support other buildings like this one here, these concrete. So what we could do now is add ones here. The key thing is not to overload the helicopter construction hubs. They end up running all over the place. And then what you do is just leave it, and what will happen is that this will progress very slowly through. Sometimes they can be a little bit strange when it comes to picking up the workforce, so you need to keep an eye on that. Actually, I don't think I've actually set up the workforce pickup, have I? Just double check that. I can't remember setting it up. So come here. This one is still blank. So what you'll see now is the actual helicopters would come over to here, pick up the workforce, and they will pick up the workforce here. Of course, it will take a little while for these to actually build up. See, as the helicopters land, they will draw in more workers. Yep, a bit of a mistake on my part there. And of course, the real advantage with this is that, say, for example, you wanted to build a new town right over here, and you wanted to keep control of your income, you could use helicopters to do all the building, so you don't use foreign workers, assuming that you've got lots and lots of fuel. I mean, that's the important thing. Helicopters will really go through. I don't know if it's already showing in the economy. We show the imports and go to, we can find fuel. You see the big spike that's starting to form now, because we will be burning really large quantities of fuel, and of course we spent a fortune on getting our helicopters up and running. So that is the way things go. Looks like we've already, and just to show you how, I mean, we're not getting any workforce in here. I think the way the game works is that when you've got this, I think the focus tends to be on here. We'll just see who's actually delivering what to where. Right, we've got a helicopter coming in here. They're up to, we're now dropping off workers into here, which will speed up this groundworks process. And then of course, once this is finished, then we've got another lot coming in here. So what you get is this steady flow of workers coming in from the helicopters. But to be honest, if I was actually playing this, to be honest, if I wasn't doing this as a demonstration, what I would do is separate the the worker delivery from the ground crew. Oh, this is another feature of the game. I don't know if you guys can actually see in here. This is one of the new features of the full release, is that you now have workers appear on site when like this, and when there's not. So what you actually get is the workers, so you can actually see the workers on the ground. They're probably in the snow as not right. So what's happened now is the helicopters come in, it's picked up the tower crane and taken away the excavator. So we've now got a tower crane here. And this is something I would certainly recommend if you are using helicopter construction offices. Make sure you get a couple of tower cranes in to help the process overall. So you can see how quickly things are coming together here. What we can do is, whoops, we'll get that going there. What we'll do is we'll leave the roads up to the road crew, and you can see over here now our main crew has finished the job. We've now got an oil refinery over here, and what I will do is put our main crew onto here, here, and here to get this operational. And of course, the problem with the main crew is the fact that, especially now in winter, they're going to have to bring all the workforce up along this long road here. And so we're just going to keep this going and keep things flowing. And of course, what we've got now is the fairly long process of actually putting this town together. So, so we've now got. So what we've got now is we need to build this town up. So I think that's about all I want to show you related to helicopter construction offices. They are very efficient, but very expensive. And I think what I'm going to do is just go back and show you the metro line and see how that's actually developing, and then I'll call it for the video. And then what I'll do is I will play on, try and get this town built, because in the next part I want to talk about actually populating the town. Oh, and that's this one top tip, guy. Actually, it's just reminded me. When you build a new remote town like this, make sure that one, that you don't have get citizens in. Also, we need to remove these. Yeah, I forgot all about this. Because what you don't want is citizens moving in when the building actually finishes. So we need to make sure like that. Because even if you've got over 21s, what you've got to do is control the citizens moving in. Because the last thing you want is random citizens actually coming into here while you're actually building up your main center. Because basically all they would do is get upset and then just leave, because there's nothing here to actually support them. And I think I've got them all. The other thing you can do, if I can find the name of the town, if we come into text here, it can be a little bit tricky to find where the name it is. Yeah, it was in Flats. Actually, because white on white is a bit of a problem, but I can't find the name. But what you can do is set the area. In fact, there's a way that you can actually be a bit sneaky here. If I come in here, I'll put it over here so you can see it. What you can do now is come into here and say, don't allow anyone to move into this area here. And that effectively overrules the town. And so you can control it on the higher level. But personally, I prefer to kind of switch everything off down at the lower level, so I've got more control. And of course, there's it's another thing we need to do is I need to start looking at a distribution office, because what we're going to need to do is set up a rail line to deliver the food and clothes and eventually alcohol to here, so that we can actually so what we can do then, so we'll be able to feed this population. We're also going to need a distribution office here as well. So what I'll do very quickly is, there's always lots and lots of things to think about in this game. Oh, so big. I think what I'll do is we could have a dead zone here anyway. So what I'll do is draw a road out like that, and then we'll put distribution office here. Stuck it on this side. It's going to probably need power, so we'll just drop you in there. So go back to roads, select the road. Yeah, and what this will do is send the food and clothes up to the store when it's finished from a pickup point here. And then of course what we're going to need to do is go back over to here, and we get to here. I think I might have a distribution office I could use, because what we're going to need is, we've got this here, we're going to need to set that to something. Yeah, we got, this is actually exporting the food, that's no good. This is exporting the clothes and alcohol, and the reason they're separated is that it gives me control over the pickup points, because the clothes pickup point is shared with the food one, so it gives me a bit of control over those areas. So what we're probably going to need is another distribution here. We only need a small one this time, so just put in more distribution office here. Just actually, we could probably tuck you in on this corner, actually. Just squeeze you in there. And then just get the road crew on that. They've probably got nothing else to do. And then what we'll do then is start to move the food, clothes and alcohol to here. Then we'll use the train to ship that to the actual border. Not the border, the warehouse up here, which will then feed and close this. And this is the key. Once you can start to go multi-city in this game, the logistics becomes more and more important. And it's very important to just make sure that everything is going well Looks like we might have a death of a child, prison, alcohol. Short. We got here. We got quite a lot of workers. Let's have a quick look. So just to wind up, we've got a lot of workers piling up in here. Now the thing with metros is that you've got to relate to the capacity. So don't keep adding trains. There's probably for this line, given the distance, 2 trains is probably enough. And then what we'll do, just have a quick check at our workforce. Yeah, I mean, the workforce is building up in the food factory. We could probably keep increasing the population. Probably don't want to put that many more people in the distillery. We've got we've got loads of fabric because we're not exporting it, so we don't need extra workers in there. And more importantly, now we are pushing towards the max of the clothes factory. So from that point of view, we're probably also starting to think about bringing the second clothes factory online. That is something for once we've got the other town up and running. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. Any questions, comments, feel free to chuck it in the video description. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.